Should New Zealand host the next America's Cup? Well, I actually don't really know if it is down to us because I don't really understand how the sport works in terms of do we just say yes and then Grant Dalton and the team go like, great, we'll be there with the boats and we can hopefully watch out the window. Maybe I'll live stream it on the YouTube for you. But I think it's deeper than that. And what I guess I'm more interested in is the commentary in the country at the moment around whether we can afford it. Now, I don't actually know what it's going to cost, but what I do know is that not that long ago, I can't remember what year, was it 2022, that we had a cost of living payment. So the cost of living was out of hand, and we said, do you know what we'll do? We'll give everybody who earns under $70,000 a year $350, and that will help with the cost of living. Now, the same politicians then said, oh, that's not inflationary, but then said that our tax cuts would be inflationary later on. I can't keep up with who thinks fucking what from these politicians. But anyway, I was thinking maybe we should just look after that money because it doesn't sound like $350 is going to solve everybody's problems. And granted, I know that it did help a lot of and some people. However, it just has me thinking about our own personal finances and how what happened with that time when I looked into it is that basically we gave out, let's say it's $750 million to people who earn under $70,000. Now, it didn't solve the cost of living crisis, did it? It's now 2024 and inflation is just getting back into the target income band of between 1% and 3%. But it didn't solve the cost of living crisis, but it would have helped people through. But why we could do that is because there was some leftover money from some sort of COVID and pandemic-y type fund or allocation of money. So instead of being like, okay, we should probably hold on to that for a natural disaster, for an emergency, for an investment, or for something productive, for something that's going to drive productivity, for infrastructure, for servicing some of the debt that we've taken on. Who knows? We're like, let's give it to the people. And why? I don't know. I don't really understand politicians, but what I do know is that their number one role is not to help you, nor me. Their number one role is to get re-elected. So giving you money is probably a great way to keep you pretty happy. And did it work? Well, probably not, because I think Labor got voted out, but their National promised people money with tax cuts and they got on. But anyway, I don't want to get political with this. I'm just trying to set the scene before we dive into what we can learn from this. Now, anyway, fast forward to 2024, and we're now having a conversation around, can we afford to have the America's Cup? Shouldn't, as a nation, the conversation been like, fuck, we can't afford not to have that here. This country, we desperately need tourists, we want innovation, we want things happening here, we want eyeballs on the country. You know, I toured America earlier this year for maybe only 4 or 5 days. I promise you, if you've never traveled, if you want to be humbled, and you grew up in New Zealand being told to stay humble, if you want to be actually fucking humbled, go to America where they're like, yeah, you're from England. You're like, nope, that ain't it. Australia, nope, that ain't it. Hey, at the restaurant we're at, I'm like, hey, we're from New Zealand. He's like, well, where is that, man? I'm like, okay, it's there. But you haven't got the North Island on your map. There's another island? I'm like, yeah, man, there is another island. Like, they don't even know that we exist. So one of the main rules of how to get transactions going is you need attention and you need people watching shit, just like this video, right? And without that, things don't happen. So if people don't know New Zealand exists, how can we expect good things to happen for the country in the long term? And how can we expect to bring capital down here to help fund projects in this young country that has still so much to offer, and we don't know what it's going to be like over the next, say, 400 years or something, if we just think a bit longer and a bit bigger. But also, don't we want to create an environment where we can actually celebrate the best team in the world, the New Zealand, Team New Zealand, in their backyard, and we can get excited about something? And my God, wouldn't it be great to have a fucking common goal that, we could all get in behind and give us something to look forward to and celebrate, and to have some success and to be excited about? Isn't that what the country needs? Isn't that, what would be amazing to have to look forward to? Instead we're like, I don't know if that is a good use of our cash. Now, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but let's just say that it was going to cost 750 million bucks, 750 that the government had to tip in. Well, imagine if they didn't go, right, let's just give that out to all of the Kiwis because we've got it left over. Now, maybe we've got it there and we go, right, we're going to take it out of the investment pot and we need to make this happen. How can we make this happen? Now, let's bring it back to you and I. So I think this happens a lot for us individually too. And what we do is we fritter our cash away and we see money sitting there in the bank and we're like, oh man, I feel so uncomfortable having money sitting there. I'll get rid of it. Yep, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm either, I'm going to spend it, I'm going to give it away, I'm going to buy an extraordinary Christmas gift for my partner, for my family, I'm going to go on a holiday, whatever. Now, a lot of us, if we're going to then watch the government and role model what they do, that's not good. That's not a good way to learn. So what I had to learn is that I got to around 10,000 bucks of savings and then I'd be like, oh shit, I start to feel a bit uncomfortable after that. What am I going to do? And I'd spend it, go on the holiday. Yeah, I can come to that. And then eventually I had to set a bigger goal and be like, no, I need to try and stack 100K. And I've done videos on the channel around stacking 100K and why I did that. But it taught me to hold on to that money and then to deploy it when something came up, when there was something more meaningful, that was an investment that was going to get me closer to my goals. And isn't a goal of New Zealand to have more people coming here to see this stuff and to do cool shit and give the public stuff that we can get in behind? Okay, so like tying it back to goals, for instance. So then I didn't want to waste my cash. When I got to 22,000, I'm not like, right, I'm going to just blow it and go back to 10 now. I'm like, no, I'm on the path, man. I'm trying to get to 100K. And then some investments would come up and I would have a crack. But years and years ago in my life, I couldn't do that and I couldn't invest in things because I didn't have the capital, and I knew that Xero, for instance, the accounting software, because that was my industry, and there's a good school of thought to invest in things that you actually understand, and accounting and online accounting and stuff, I could see what was coming. And I'm thinking, right, like I know about shares, I've brought shares already at this stage, but I can't buy any. Why? Because I've frittered my fucking cash away. So instead of investing and deploying my ammunition towards something that is going to be good for me in my life, I'm like, nah, got to repay Westpac, got to pay my debt. And so that's where I think we are as a nation a little bit. We know that we're in debt at the moment and we frittered a lot of money and stuff. And like, let's not get into ripping on all the different politicians and what they did with the cash. People have hundreds of examples and it's like, should we have given the tax breaks again or reset the rules around interest deductibility for landlords and stuff so we can, people will get into that. But I think, it's a good lesson. This is a time where we should be grabbing into the war chest going like, yo, we need to make this happen. Like, do you think a Dubai or another country would be looking at the best team in the world, like their team, and going, not sure if we can afford to have you guys come and do it here? Like, they're going to be going, we need to make this happen. Let's get around a table. Let's figure it out. Where does the cash need to come from? Let's make it happen. Let's invest some cash. We know that we can get economic activity going, taxes. Let's figure out how to pay it back. Do we have a levy with the people that are coming here, with super yacht people, with wealthy people, whatever? Fuck knows. Let's figure it out, man. There's heaps of time to figure it out. But instead, we're polling New Zealanders and we're having a conversation around like, I don't know if that's a good use of money right now. So just have a think about your own self and what you're doing with your cash and what things you might have come up in your life that you want to have a crack at, and whether you can build some funds so that you can take from those funds and invest into something that's going to be better for yourself, your household, your family, your community, projects that you care about. Can you build up some ammunition and can you build up a war chest in order to be able to do that? So that when these things happen and they pop up in your lap and you're like, whoa, it's right there, but I can't do it because I'm paying off my buy now, pay later. I'm paying off my Westpac credit card if you were me, paying off my Gem Visa if you were me. You've got to repay your sins because you've already frittered the cash away and you've allocated the future income from yourself. So you look in the mirror and you're like, yo, you need to pay that. Future you need to pay that. And you're having to pay those things rather than getting stuck into things that actually are going to move the needle of your life. So be very careful with the cash that you collect and what you do with it. And I always suggest starting with a cash flow forecast, which is what we do in business, but we apply it to an individual level. So every fortnight, if you get paid fortnightly or monthly or weekly or whatever, right? Every pay cycle you want to look at like what's coming in and what's coming in until the next time I get paid and what's going out until the next time I get paid. And then show me what have you got left over. Okay, great. Now I'm going to use that leftover ammo and I'm going to deploy it to stuff towards your goals. So it might be clearing your mortgage faster. It might be building your emergency fund. It might be investing. It might be, stacking for a holiday that you are going on, but you're like, I'm not doing it with debt, man. I've got to use this. So we've got to start with our slice down there of what we have left over, and then we have to be very deliberate around what we are doing with that. And then, New Zealand will tell you like, oh, cut some of these expenses and decrease these. But spend 20% of your time there, but spend 80% up here. How can I make this figure bigger? This is what we don't do in New Zealand. No, man, no. Chuck on the media, etc. And it's like, oh, cut this subscription out. Great, done. Now fucking what? Sweet. Like, yep, great. Okay, how do I increase my income? And that's, I think, where the content really starts, is how do we increase our incomes and teaching people how to do that, because making money is a skill. Making money is a skill, and once you have a big enough problem that you want to solve or something you want to invest in, then your brain clicks into like, okay, how do we make this happen? And that's the conversation we should be happening right now, is we need this America's Cup in New Zealand. How do we make it happen? Let's get the smartest people around who know how to make money, who have got solutions, and let's figure out how to make this happen. This is like a non-negotiable, let's do it, not, oh, I don't know if that's a good use of our cash given what we've been through recently, etc., right? So you can learn from this situation that we're currently seeing, because you're going to see it play time and time again. It's going to play out time and time again in this country. But don't let it play out in your life. Be smarter than this and be careful with your money and deliberate with what you're doing with your money.